From Tommy Fury being too scared to face Paul to being denied entry into Saudi Arabia. Here's the real reason why the Brit was a no-show at the Jake Paul versus Tommy Fury pre-fight face-off. After almost 2 years of feuding, Jake Paul and Tommy Fury are set to come face-to-face in a boxing ring in Saudi Arabia. And the real fans know how many negotiations went on just to make the fight possible. But Fury was a no-show at the press conference in the Middle East, and fans were left to wonder if the fight was in jeopardy again. Of course, the Love Island star missing out on the pre-event gave Paul a lot to boast about. He went on and on about how his opponent was just scared to come face-to-face, and it might just be true. The YouTuber called his opponent unprofessional for missing out on official events and said, "I'm used to his behavior at this point. He's not a serious fighter." TNT obviously responded. He said he didn't want to break camp and fly back and forth from the UK to the Middle East just for a few hours of trash talking. Jake used this opportunity to take shots at his opponent again and said, "Thought you said you wouldn't even have to train to fight me. You and your papa are scared." The former Disney star isn't wrong though. Tommy has probably realized that Paul isn't someone to be taken lightly, and beating him won't be a piece of cake, which is why there was all the extra training. Even two-time heavyweight champion Tyson Fury said that this fight's gonna put a lot of pressure on his brother Tommy, and he isn't wrong, but being scared isn't the only reason why Tommy would have said no to a trip to the Middle East. Maybe he just wasn't up for more drama. Tommy Fury wanted to avoid Paul's trash talking.
It's the typical scene in there, though, Richie, have been involved in lots of situations like this. Everybody wants a piece, everybody wants to pat somebody on the back, and everybody wants to celebrate.
Daniel Vanderbilt scores it 76-73 to the winner by split decision.
Here's the thing, we all know that Jake Paul has no filter when it comes to trash talking. He'll bring up whatever he wants and cross all lines of disrespect without thinking twice. And Fury is just not the man for this. He has a family and just recently became a dad. Paul has the habit of bringing up his opponent's sweetheart, Molly May, a lot. Remember that one time the Bizaardvark star faked flirty DMs from her? Yeah, that took a toll on Fury and he became, no pun intended, furious. And that wasn't the only time Paul involved Molly in his feud with Fury. He also posted a video of Tommy partying and wrote, "Molly May, come get your man." And if this wasn't too much, Paul also brought Fury's newborn daughter Bambi into all of this, as if ruining the Love Island couple's birth announcement wasn't enough. Geez, Paul, take a break. So, it makes sense that Fury just didn't want to have more of Paul's trash talking and avoided it by simply staying home. I'd be so done with the influencer boxer if I was Tommy. Paul tweeted about his back hurting from carrying all the promotion for the fight since Tommy wasn't bothered to show up at any event. But maybe he just thinks he doesn't need to promote his fight. Tommy Fury thinks he's too good. Fury comes from a family with a fighting history. His dad was a bare-knuckle fighter and his brother is a world champion. The 23-year-old athlete has been boxing since he was 14, so it makes sense if he thinks he's all that. I mean, he's undefeated with 6 wins, he has charisma, and he was on a pretty popular reality show.
What's going to separate them from being 50-50? That's where it starts right now.
Jake Paul. Left hook. That's it.
I looked over at them. It didn't seem to shake them. No one seemed to acknowledge what Biden did last fight. Tommy, don't stretch your feet. Keep moving.
So much for that prediction from both men, stating the fight will not enter the 5th.
So maybe he thinks he just doesn't need to put on his shoes, go out, sit in front of a bunch of cameras, and trash talk about his opponent to hype up the fight. He's Tommy Fury. People are going to tune in anyway. And this fight has enough hype. I mean, all this drama has been going on for almost 2 years now, and Tommy not showing up at events isn't a new thing. Are we all going to forget about how this fight's been canceled 2 times before? This isn't the first time Tommy Fury has tried to fight Jake Paul. Yeah, the boxers have signed on the dotted line before a couple of times. They were first supposed to step into the ring in December 2021. All the drama going around had hyped up the fight a lot and fans were waiting impatiently. But then Tommy pulled out just 2 weeks before due to a broken rib and multiple fractures. Someone trained a little too hard. After months of negotiations, the boxers decided to face each other again in August 2022. Only this time, Tommy was a no-show at the press conference. Anyone getting deja vu? This was because he was being denied entry into America and had to pull out once again. That's what you get for having ties with the Irish crime boss Daniel Kinahan. Yeah, Tommy Fury and Tyson Fury are both banned from the States. Luckily for Fury, the Arabs don't care about his connections with the Irish mob, so he can fight Paul in Saudi without any worries. And he will, fingers crossed.
the style is from Gibb. Crouching wildly, and that crouching in a very unorthodox fashion.
Looked like that was an early headbutt. I should start with the jabs.
As in any fight, but especially with...
He's hurt.
Gibb is hurt, and now he's down again.
This fight is really important for the careers of both boxers, especially Tommy, and he can really win this one. Tommy Fury has major advantages over Jake Paul. There's no doubt that Paul is a great boxer. He's undefeated with 6 wins, and that's impressive. But he's never really fought a real boxer before. Yeah, the 26-year-old athlete has fought good opponents, such as Anderson Silva and Tyrone Woodley, but none of them had a professional boxing background. And Tommy's been boxing since his early teenage years, when Paul was busy starring in a children's Disney show. So he can really win this one if he tries to. His fighting style definitely tops Paul's style. Fury has more experience in the ring and his approach is more technical, whereas Jake is more of a brawler. And don't get me started on Fury's reach, because that gives him a major advantage over Paul. Fury can't afford to lose this one because there's just too much at stake here. The Fury family name, his whole career, you name it. I mean, who would want to fight a boxer who got knocked out by a YouTuber? And oh, the headlines will be so bad.
It's gonna take more than one overhand right to get Tommy out of here. Now here's the thing. Sorry, but here's the thing.
But lo and behold, tonight, he mother's maiden name with how bad I'm going to embarrass him. Well, the truth is now.
Just because a fighter is moving does not mean that that fighter is afraid to fight.
Jake Paul has sparred the likes of
Disney star knocks out professional boxer Tommy Fury. Yeah, that wouldn't look good on his resume. But if Fury's been training well, then he can easily walk out victorious. You and I will just have to wait and see. And yeah, the fight's been canceled too many times before, but the third time's a charm, they say. Jake Paul versus Tommy Fury is set for the 26th of February in Saudi Arabia. The boxers will face each other in Diriyah Arena, and I'm sure the crowd's going to love this one. The event will be broadcasted online on BT Sport Copy pay-per-view, so no need to catch a flight to the Middle East. This event's going to be a big one, and there'll be many great undercard games as well. Ilunga Makabu will fight Beidou Jack for the WBC Cruiserweight title, and the Tommy Fury and Jake Paul feud will be settled once and for all. Millions of fans from around the world will be tuning in thanks to all the trash talk, so both the boxers are expected to walk away with a lot of money. The stakes are high, and there's a lot to win and lose for both Paul and Fury. I don't know about you, but I'll be tuning in for the match. That's all for Jake Paul versus Tommy Fury.
Will we see you again in this ring for another war of this magnitude?
100%. This is my first main event. I'm only going to go stronger, I'm only going to go bigger, and I'm only going to go better. There's a lot of nerves coming into here. I override that. If you want a rematch, bring it on.